Standard 10th, Political Science, Chapter number 2, the Electoral Process. Elections have played a major role in the working of India's democracy. Elections and representation are two very important processes in democracy. Now, why do we have elections? Why don't we just elect someone and let the government run forever throughout life? Because when elections take place, we vote for a particular party or a particular representative of a local area to be elected to the government. During the election, the parties and the candidates, they make certain promises to the public that if they are elected, they will be fulfilling the needs of the local area and the people. But what if they do not fulfill their promises? What if they just change as soon as they are elected? That is why there is a particular process in democracy which is known as election. We know that the people's representatives are selected through elections. Elections help to bring a change in power through peaceful means. The government, the parties, they are not allowed to quarrel and fight with each other. Every particular time frame has been given to the public during which they can vote and decide whether they want the same government to continue or they want a change in power. Different political parties get an opportunity to rule. Different parties can make different promises and they can have different candidates. The public decides which party they find worthy of making the government. Policies of the government and life of society also changes. When there is a change in the government, whatever policies were adopted by the previous government, they change. Also, with the change in the policies, the life of the people of the society also change. We expect that the representatives we elect should be efficient, honest and trustworthy, and that they should respect the opinion of the people. When we select or elect one particular candidate, we want that candidate to work towards the betterment of the people staying in his locality. We want him or her to work towards the development of the area from where he or she is elected. The electoral process should also be free, fair and reliable. If there are any misdoings, wrongdoings during the elections, the trust of the people is lost. Therefore, to ensure this, the Constitution of India has made provision for an independent election commission to administer the election process in India. Whenever there are elections, we have an election commission who keeps an eye on the process of the elections, that they are conducted in a fair manner, honestly, and with complete transparency. And this election commission is independent. It does not belong to any particular party, any political party. It does not belong to any particular government. The Election Commission of India and the state level state election commissions conduct all important elections in our country. Now, the Election Commission also has two levels, the national level and the state level. The entire process of elections, from declaring the date of elections to the declaration of results, is carried out under the direction and control of Election Commission. Now, this is the role, these are the roles of the Election Commission. What it does, it decides when this election should be conducted, whether the environment is conducive, whether the environment is proper to conduct the elections. Also, it declares after the elections are over, it declares the date on which the results of the election will be declared. The election process is an inseparable component of a comprehensive democratic process. This is called as democracy. In democracy, people have the right to vote and elect a candidate or a government of their choice. Now we will be talking about Election Commission. This was an introduction. In India, the Election Commission is central to the process of elections. It is the center point to the process of elections. Article 324 of the Indian Constitution has established this autonomous body, which consists of one Chief Election Commissioner, CEC, and two other commissioners. The President appoints the election commissioners. Now, this appointment of the election commissioners is not done by any government. It is not done by any political party. It is not done by any chief minister or prime minister. Who does this? The President does this. The chief election commissioner cannot be removed from his post easily or on account of any political reasons. If any political party does not like that election commissioner, he cannot be removed. The chief election commissioner is appointed by the president and he or she can be removed only by the presidential order. This is necessary so as to preserve the independence of election commission. There is a separate provision made for the expenses of election commission. Now, if election commission does not belong to any political party, and if the election commission does not belong to any particular government, who will give the expenses or the money that needs to be spent in conducting the elections? There is a separate provision, there is a separate setting in the budget which allots a particular amount as expenditure for the election commission. See, these 2 points can come as MCQs. The president appoints the election commissioners, and there is a separate provision for the expenses of the election commission. The election commission does not have a separate staff. Now, this is a little bit contradictory, but please try to understand it is not the part of the government, but the staff is not separate. Government officers, teachers, and other employees help the election commission to execute the process of elections. We are very well aware whenever there are local elections or state level elections, all the teachers are appointed, government officers are appointed, and other employees are appointed from our local villages to help the election commission conduct free and fair elections. Now, if we go back a little to the previous page, there are 2 green boxes where they are giving us additional information. What is representation? We had 2 words, election and representation. Now, what is representation? Modern democracy is a representative democracy. MCQ, underline, mark this up. In a democracy, it is not possible to involve the entire population in the decision-making process. If the government wants to take certain decisions, it cannot go and ask each and every person in the country. There are 130 crore people. So what it does, the local public, they vote and they elect a local candidate which acts as a representative of that particular area. Since the government cannot involve the entire population, this resulted in the starting of the practice of electing some people on behalf of the entire population as representatives who would then run the government. The representatives who form the government are expected to be responsible to the people and give preference to the welfare of the people. Now, we take it that our representative is the most honest person, he or she is the most trustworthy person, and he or she will be acting responsibly, giving utmost preference to the welfare of the people and to the development of the locality. This is the definition of representation. Though this question may not be asked in the exams, if a short note is asked for 2 marks, you need to pick up 4 points from this green box. Alright? Now, Before proceeding ahead, I will finish the second green box which is besides it. Sukumar Sen was the first chief election commissioner after independence. 1 mark MCQ, mark it up. In 1921, Sen was selected for Indian Civil Services under the British rule. He was given the charge of the election commissioner after the election commission was established in 1950. India gained independence in 1947. The election commission was established in 1950. Mr. Sen efficiently handled the responsibility of the election commission in extremely adverse conditions. Adverse means difficult conditions. Why were the conditions difficult? Because this was the first time election commission was established, and this was the first time India was preparing itself for the elections after the independence. Before moving ahead, we will be giving this a break here. If any one of you has any doubts, queries or issues, you can inform me on WhatsApp. Until we meet next time, take care. Bye-bye.